So I brought a good friend of mine, Chef Steve from Waterloo, to come and help me because there's nothing that says cottage than bringing friends to the cottage. Hey, welcome.
Thank you, Chef.
So, Chef, tell me a little bit about what you're doing now at the schools, because you're teaching in the high school level.
So, yes, I was in the hospitality industry before, and then had an opportunity to get into culinary arts in the high school. So I've been doing that now for 13 years. So I teach grades 9 to 10 in Waterloo at St. David Catholic Secondary School, and yeah, it's great.
So when they come into your class, do they know how to use a knife or anything, or is it more teaching them the basics and kind of going from there?
Some do, you know, some do. Those ones that have the opportunity to, you know, work with their parents in the kitchen or grandparents, yeah, they do have some good kitchen skills. And then there's others that, you know, right to the freezer and right to the microwave. So, yeah.
So that's kind of cool, and it's really great what you're doing. And I've had the honor of actually cooking with some of the kids, and we did a banquet together, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah. But you know what? We're at the cottage, right?
Yes.
What says cottage more than a cold beer? Do you think we should start with a cold beer?
Yes.
I think we should too. Our good friends from Waterloo,
thank you.
From Waterloo Brewery, a little bit of Pilsner. Cheers, and we're going to get started. How good's that? So what we're doing here is we're going to be making some burgers, but we need a good aioli to go with it, right? So we talked off air, and you're going to make it by hand.
Yeah, old school.
And I'm going to use a hand mixer from Braun that's absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to get started, and then if you want to jump in anytime, tell me what you're doing. I'm going to take a clove of fresh garlic, and this is Ontario garlic. And if you can, always look for Ontario garlic, because much more flavor, much more pungency, absolutely fantastic. And
supporting Ontario farmers.
Fresh garlic, you would like to try and get as much as possible, whether it be from, you know, where we are in our region, and I'm sure we're growing lots more up here. I saw a bunch of stands on our way up to the cottage, both from that. Again, keeping it nice and fresh. So you're chopping yours up real nice and fine, right?
I'm going to try.
Because I don't have to do that. So in goes 1 clove of garlic. If you want more garlic, you like more garlic, you can put more garlic in it. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper. It would probably, if you're kind of measuring at home, it'd be probably a 1/4 teaspoon of each. And then I'm going to take a little bit of chipotle pepper. And yes, I've already done the black pepper, but when you add chipotle, you're adding layers of flavor. Oh, that garlic smells so good. So about a 1/4 of a teaspoon of chipotle, a little bit of Dijon, and I have a honey Dijon here. Is that okay? Are you okay with the honey Dijon?
I'm fine with that, yeah.
So about a tablespoon of, put that over on his side. Then I'm going to take 2 eggs. In they go. Steve is using some fresh lemon juice. I'm going to use some red wine vinegar, because not every time at the cottage you have something, or you know, you're like me and you forget a lot. So you know, whatever you want to go. So I'm going to add a teaspoon of vinegar.
So that's just going to blend up.
Yep. And the thing is, we're going to use canola oil for both our aiolis, because when you ever use olive oil, which is great, and we love using olive oil, but it's too bitter, and all of a sudden it kind of takes over everything, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. So I'm just kind of whisking my eggs, and then now is what I'm going to do is slowly, very slowly. If you think you're going too slow, go slower.
Okay.
And you just have to drizzle to make the emulsification, to get that oil suspended.
Yep. And this is the only science I know, because it's a molecule of the protein of the egg attaches to the molecule of the oil, which then becomes aioli, which is really a fancy name for mayonnaise.
Yeah,
Right?
Yes. That's all, it's basically, it's the original type mayonnaise, right? What we're making here is just homemade mayonnaise.
So whenever you're done, I'm going to be a lot noisier than you. Can I start using mine, or do you want to still
Probably could.
Okay. Is that okay?
Yep, go for it.
So in 10 seconds, we have all ours blended in. Now, you know, he's using a measuring cup. I'm just going by eyeball. So we're just going to slowly add the oil in.
Starting to sweat.
Look going over there, Chef?
Once you have the initial emulsification done, you can add your oil in faster.
Yep.
So I'm done. That's not too bad.
No, that was really quick, actually.
But I have a lot more than you do.
You know, I'm making for a smaller batch. So now you're going to put a little bit of olive
Just
oil.
a little bit of olive oil, just add some flavor.
And now you're going to add your acid now?
Yeah.
So do you want me to cut up a half lemon for you?
Sure, please.
And then did you put any of the mustard in at all? Or
Not
just
yet, no.
Okay.
I put all my stuff in at the end, actually.
Okay. And why is that?
You know what? No real reason. It's just what I've kind of done. This is actually kind of how I teach the students. I teach them this way because this is kind of the way I was taught.
And it's funny how you know, throughout your career and wherever you go with this is that, you know, the way you do it is kind of the way you've always done it. And
Yeah.
that's what's so great. And I always love that, you know, at times where, you know, recipes, everybody says, oh, they taste different. Well, because they're always made differently.
Done differently, yeah.
Hi. Who's that?
That's Dave, the cameraman.
Thanks for there, Sean.
Nothing like cottage lifestyle.
That's
Okay, so your aioli son, I'm gonna grab
Yeah.
a spoon.
okay. I'm going to grab a paper towel.
Okay. You coming back anytime soon? Yeah. You try mine?
Thank you.
Good, nice and light. You have a little bit more air in it because you've had it whipping a little bit more. It's a
yeah.
lot lighter.
Little pepper.
Okay, so we're gonna go make some French fries.
All right.
Again, when you're looking to make French fries, you want to use a russet potato. Again, lower in starch. This potato is so versatile.
Very versatile, yes it is. Great for French fries, allowing you to get that crispy exterior and that fluffy interior, and then again, great for, of course, the classic baked potato. Yes.
So what we're going to do now is I'm going to use my mandolin, and not everybody has a mandolin, so you're going to show how you can actually cut it by hand, right?
Right.
I'm getting the better end of the whole deal of this, aren't I?
This is how I do everything at home. Actually, I do have one of these, but I don't use it.
And you can buy, this is, you know, a much more expensive mandolin, but you can buy the inexpensive
Yep.
ones and go from there. So we're going to get going.
Now, I always suggest that when you're working with something round, you cut yourself a flat spot. And then again, working with that flat spot, cut yourself your slices, and then you can come back, and then you cut your French fries.
Now, I don't usually use the guard on my mandolin at home, but the producer made me use it today.
Well,
She said, we're not going to the hospital. And again, nice and easy. And you're just going to start seeing a lot of the starch comes off the potato here. The other great thing is you actually don't have to wash your potatoes before you actually cut them here, because we're going to rinse them in cold water, take a little bit more of the starch off, and go from there. So, you know, in a couple of seconds, I have all these great potatoes making into fries here. Now, there's two schools of thought, and there's a really great magazine, and I got to mention it. Cooks Illustrated takes every recipe to the nth degree. They might do it like 10 different times to make sure that it works, right?
Yep.
And if you read their one recipe on French fries, what they actually do is they put the French fries on the potato in cold oil, bring the oil up to 350 degrees, and cook it.
All right.
And that actually saves a third of the oil in your French fries. So if you're kind of looking at your calories and wanting to stay away from a little bit of the oil, you can use it that way. Or we have a really great way of blanching these off.
yes, we're going to do ours in water. All right, just to and the process of blanching the potato is to cook the potato kind of inside without browning the outside. If you just take the raw potato, you put it into the oil, is what's going to happen. Your outside's going to cook too fast, and your inside's not going to have that fluffiness that you like.
Right.
In a good French fry.
So I'm going to run these under cold water,
Okay.
and then we're going to put them into blanch them off for a couple minutes, and then when we come back, we will be making some
French
burgers.
fries. Excellent.
So what we're doing, again, we have our cold water on our potatoes. We're just going to take a little, as you can just start seeing, the water's a lot whiter, and you're going to get the last little bit of the starch off, and then we're just going to take our, again, our hose, and we're going to drain a little bit more of the starch off. And as Steve was mentioning earlier, again, we're going to blanch it in some hot water, and then that way it's going to cook on the inside, so then you're going to get that nice fluffy French fry that we've been looking for. So we're going to just give it a quick shake. And the great thing, like I mentioned earlier, is that you actually don't need to clean your potatoes before you actually do this, because once you rinse them off, it's rinsing all the dirt off as well. And away we go. So now we're going to take it over. We have some boiling water. No, I did not put any salt in it. It's just plain boiling water. We're going to take it over, put it in. And we don't want them too soft, so it's just going to be for 1 minute, 60 seconds, and we're good to go. So I'm just going to move my strainer back over to my sink here. Give the potatoes just a quick stir. And again, you want the water to be boiling before you put the potatoes in, because if it's not, the water's going to be too cold. They're going to absorb some more of the water, and that's not what we're looking for. So when they go in the deep fryer, they're going to give that nice snap, a nice cook. And when we're finished here, you can set them on your counter for 30 minutes, or you can put them in the refrigerator for up to 24 hours and then just bring them out, and then we're going to deep fry them, and they will taste absolutely amazing. So we're going to take them from here. And what I usually do for the next, 30 minutes is just kind of let them drain in the drain and sink here, and you're good to go. This is actually truly one of my favorite meals. Burgers and French fries. It really doesn't get much better than that.
You can't get much better than that, especially in the cottage.
Agreed, right?
Yeah,
so I brought some beef from Nature Farms.
Okay.
And do you want to know what I brought?
Sure.
Okay, so I have some ground chuck here,
All right.
which is really a blade roast. If you're looking at the butcher shop and you want to kind of grind your own, you get a blade roast, and that's what you're looking for, right?
Right.
And then the other one is, as you can see, this is a little bit more marbled.
Redder,
Yeah, a little
marbled,
marbled. This is a lot lighter, more beef. It's actually ground flank steak.
Okay.
So you get the lean and the fat going on, so you get lots of the nice flavor, and then again, just kind of brings it all together, having
So
both together.
chuck and flank steak.
Right.
Okay.
And so we're just going to put both in here.
All right.
And this would be 4 pounds if you're keeping track at home. They're 1 pound each. We're just going to mix this together just like so. Now, when we're done making our patties, we're going to put them back in the refrigerator, and we're going to actually keep them in the refrigerator for about an hour, because you want your patties to be ice cold when you put them on the barbecue. And do you want to explain the science behind that, or am I going to do that, or am I going to lie?
The idea behind it is to get, which we just had a discussion with one of our friends here, is the congealing of the blood in the beef, which holds the burger together when you put it onto the barbecue. So you need to make your patties, get them in the refrigerator, get them nice and cool, and as you can see, there's no filler in here. There's no egg, there's no breadcrumbs. We haven't even put in salt and pepper, really, have we?
We're going to have some garlic aioli with it. I'm a firm believer sometimes we eat too much salt in our diet, so if I can take a little bit back, and I know how good this is and how good it's going to taste, then I will not put salt and pepper in this, but if you would like to, great.
Yeah.
If you want to put Montreal steak seasoning, you can. I asked my mom, why did she always put oatmeal into our burger mix, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, it's just because back then they didn't have a lot of money, so she wanted to make it expand, so she put some oatmeal in, because it kind of had that texture of ground beef, right? And then some people put breadcrumbs in just because then it won't rebloom on you as you take it from the barbecue to the table, and you it kind of as it kind of comes back and hits the oxygen, it gets a little bit redder, and some people just don't like that, and away you go. Now, there's some people that love having the burger medium rare. All power to you, I like my burger more well done, because I know as a bacteria has kind of gotten ground into it, and you're shaking your head. Why are you
medium
shaking?
rare? Medium rare. If it's good quality meat like this, right, from a local butcher, You know, and maybe even rare.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Hear that cow moo when you bite into it.
And if you're keeping track at home and you really want to keep an idea of keeping, you know, your family safe and temperature-wise, 160 is perfect for the burger. Get a meat thermometer. You can buy them at any local restaurant supply store, or even at some of the major grocery stores now have them. And it kind of gives you an idea of what you're doing. If you go to 180, it's really well done, and you sometimes dry it out.
Yeah. And you always, too, like what I tell my students, you always want to make sure, and if you do watch a lot of cooking shows, you'll see that once they finish cooking meat, they'll always let it rest, and that allows those muscles to relax. It allows the juices to flow back into the meat and provide you with a much juicier product. And another thing along with the meat thermometer, make sure that if you are using a meat thermometer, you come in from the side of the meat on the burger, not through the top, because you might get a false reading. So always make sure you come through the side and into the middle.
And if you really enjoy the big, juicy, thick burgers, just grab a paring knife and put a little notch in the middle of the beef. That way the heat goes through the beef and kind of cooks in the middle as well. So, you know, if you're looking to cook it right through, that's an easy way of doing it, and away we go. So I think we're ready to go to the barbecue.
We are ready. Yes. Okay.
So these are going to go in the refrigerator for about an hour?
For sure.
And then we're going to have another beer?
And yes.
And then we're going to the
clean
barbecue.
up, and then we're going to go to the barbecue.
Okay, perfect. So we have our barbecue warmed up. I preheated our barbecue to about 450 to 500 degrees, which is medium high. You don't want to go too hot, because if you put the burgers on and it's too hot, they're going to flare up and they're going to burn and it's going to smell and it's not fun. So again, bring the temperature down a little bit longer. It's not a bad thing, because that means you get to have an extra Waterloo Brewery beer, and it's fantastic. So we have our burgers, they're nice and cold. Pop them onto the grill. Now we're just going to close our grill for just a minute and let them cook. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't manhandle, and I don't know how other way to describe this, is you don't want to manhandle them. So you don't want to be flipping them back and forth or pressing down on them, because you're taking out all that beautiful juice, and that beautiful juice is what's going to make your burger nice and juicy, because there's nothing worse than a dried, burnt burger. So again, you want to put the lid down. You don't want to have it on any higher than medium high, so about 450 degrees. Use your barbecue gauge and you can go from there. So we're going to open it up and just start seeing they're cooking really nicely. And then what we're just going to do, take our spatula, we're just going to turn them to the side, and that's quarter turning them. And just so you know, with the Crown Verde, is that it gets hotter the farther away from you it goes. So if you want to, slow it down, or you have the person that likes it medium rare, you can then actually use it on medium rare and have it a little bit cooler at the top of the barbecue. We're going to close it again. We're not going to look at it for about another, 2 minutes, and then we're going to turn it over, and you're going to have some amazing burgers. Okay, so now our burgers have done, they're halfway cooked. And now we're going to turn them over. We have some nice lines on it. My fire's down, so it's not too hot. Yes, you are going to still get some flame. That's, normal. And because you do have the ground chuck or blade roast, it does have a little bit of more fat in it. So you're going to have a little bit of that, but it doesn't hurt it. So we're going to turn this down. Now, I want to introduce you to something, because I see a lot of people and they have tongs that are like out to here. You want to have a tong that feels good in your hand. It's just an extension of your hand that's maybe no more than 12 inches. This is a perfect tong. You can buy it at any local restaurant supply store. It's nice and thick, and it's heavy duty. So again, you can turn anything with it. We'll finish turning the burgers with it. And also too, we're going to introduce the french fries, and we'll be able to get the french fries out with our tongs. So tongs are just another great extension of your hands. They're great to use. I highly recommend them. I have probably about 20 of them, and it works great. So our fries, again, we blanched them off with some water. Now we're just going to slowly put them in. You don't want to go too fast with this because you don't want the oil to splatter. And our oil's nice and hot. It's about 350 degrees. And it's going to come up a little bit, so you just want to make sure that you, again, take it nice and slow. A little bit slower. And it's just the initial time that you put it in that is going to do this. And as it starts cooking, the oil starts coming down and you'll be fine. And don't forget, as you put more fries in, it cools the oil down. But again, you don't want to dump it all in at once because then you'll be calling your fire department. And there's nothing that worse is than ruining a cottage party is by having the fire department come, unless you've intentionally invited them to have something good to eat. So now this is going to take probably about 5 to 7 minutes to cook in the fat. They're going to be those really nice crunchy fries that we're all looking for. The burgers will be finishing. We're going to do one more quarter turn on them, and then we're going to put some 5-year-old cheddar on because nothing says love like 5-year-old cheddar on your burger. So our fries are just finishing up. We're probably about 30 seconds to a minute away. I like mine really crispy, so we'll probably go the whole minute. And this is not a kitchen minute, it is an actual true minute. And our burgers are finishing up now. And as I mentioned earlier, the way to make this burger even better is grab some 5-year-old cheddar. So our friends from Black River, we have some amazing 5-year-old cheddar. We're gonna put our cheddar on our burgers. And this is where I've turned our barbecue down now. Our burgers are sitting at about a medium. Again, if you want, you can put in a meat thermometer and get it to that 160, and it's really safe and really great for your family and friends. Or if you like, you know, Chef Steve, he likes his medium rare, so we'll make sure he gets one of those. Last of the cheese going on. And now, the buns. This is where it gets really important, and you know, there's a lot of times that you see so many different buns, and you can buy so many different at many different grocery stores. I love the brioche buns, so the butter flavor enhanced, really nice and light. We're gonna toast that. And also too, these are potato scallion. They're nice and light. You don't want a heavy bun. You don't want to weigh your burger down with a lot of bread. So we're just gonna quickly toast those off. I have some fried onions here that we'll put on in just a second, but I'm gonna take our fries out. So I have my china cap, I have my tongs, and then you can just start taking this out. And then if, for those of you who really like the well done fries, we can go a little bit longer yet. Leave it there. We're just going to season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. And as much or as little as you like. We'll give it a quick flip. Bring it over. That way it's going to keep warm. Put some more buns on. And I know I have some hungry friends behind me, so I'm going to grab my tongs. Grab our first toasted bun. Our brioche. Grab our burger for Chef Steven, a little bit of fries, a little bit of fried onions, and there you have it, your burger, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks for joining me at the cottage today with some amazing burger and fries.
Thank you.
Eat and enjoy.